Let's just say I bleed every day.
Oh my God.
Okay. Let's just leave it at that. There's always days they bite, they scratch. It's just their nature. They're trying to get away.
Yeah.
They have no idea that we're trying to. The only time that's how you know when an animal is really sick is when they let you work on them.
Oh wow.
If they let you work on them, you know he's in bad shape.
Wow.
Otherwise, they fight you tooth and nail every minute. Either they'll bite you, they'll scratch you, they try to talon you.
Yeah.
But then you get that little window when they first come in where you can actually do a pretty good workup on them. And then after that, next day they feel a little better. And then it's all over.
Yeah.
Then it's war.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, probably towards the end of the time, they're probably just like, get the hell away from me.
Yeah, by the time they leave here, downstairs,
wherever you go in the Catskills, you could look down and imagine glaciers below you.
I think the weather challenges on this incident were particularly difficult.
Whereas Pansy Mountain is totally opposite. It's a mountain on top of a crater.
It is really the development of New York State. Catskills were responsible.
Yeah!
Welcome to Inside the Line, the Catskills. This episode is brought to you by Scenic Route Guiding. If you're ready to hit the trails, make sure you take the scenic route. Our guides are here to help you with your goals, big or small. Check out the Scenic Route Guiding and Gear Rentals on Instagram and Facebook for more information. Also, if you mention the podcast, you can get 10% off. Use the code Mountain Lion. Mountain Lion. Excellent, excellent. So let's have some fun, all right?
Sure.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome to episode 28 of Inside the Line, the Catskills. My name is Stash. I am here with Dave from Friends of the Feathered and Furry. If you guys haven't heard of this place, check it out. It's a really amazing place for the Catskills, a wildlife rehabilitation center and refuge. I would say that. Would that be correct, Dave?
No, just a wildlife center, a rehabilitation center.
Excellent.
They don't stay if they're released when they're ready to go.
Excellent. That's so cool. If you've ever checked them out on Facebook, because they have a lot of amazing stories and amazing rescues. I've been following them for years, and their stuff is just amazing and beautiful. So thanks for joining me tonight, Dave. I really appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.
Yeah. Thank our monthly subscribers, Katrina Weinig, Darren White, John Comiskey, Vicky Ferreira, and Jim C. Thank you, guys. I'd also like to thank my friend Chad from CP Media, who helped me with my music for all my intros and stuff like that. I thank him very much for helping me out and for donating his time. Check him out on any platform. I'm pretty sure he's on Facebook and Instagram, so check him out. Hey, Dave, you having anything to drink tonight?
I was gonna go get a water, but no, I'm okay.
Okay.
It's a little chilly down here.
Where are you at?
We have to keep it cold for that. This is the critical care unit of the wildlife center.
Okay.
And we have to keep it. We can't heat it because otherwise birds blow their feathers too soon, and so we have to keep it a little on the chilly side. If they need heat, we provide it.
Oh, that's awesome. That is incredible.
Right now, we're a balmy 51 degrees down here now.
I think it's 39 outside, but it's probably 66 in my room, so I'm good.
Okay.
I'm having a rum and coke, and it's warming me up. So
there you go.
Excellent. So I don't know. Do you hike at all, Dave?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I have a heart condition.
Okay. Yeah, that's best the way to stay away from that. We don't want you dying on the trail.
No one will find me.
Well, hey, you're probably a good bushwhacker, so you got to go out and get those animals out in the middle of the wild.
Yeah, I used to be. I used to hunt, and that's the way I used to hunt. I used to bushwhack years ago when I was younger.
Oh, awesome! I mean, hopefully, all you hunters know about your GPS stuff, because that's GPS and navigation with a map and compass. Because
we are trying so hard.
You guys go out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, we do.
All right. I got some Catskill news. My friend Myra, who is a summit steward, would like me to announce this, and I'm happy to announce this. The New York, New Jersey Trail Conference is currently hiring for the upcoming 2022 season of the AmeriCorps Trail Stewards. These trail stewards work in the Catskill, Minnewaska, and Lower Hudson Valley to help educate visitors on park regulations, hiker safety, and preparedness, responsible use, and leave no trace principles. In the Catskills, they are stationed at several amazing summits, including the Burroughs Range, which is Slide, Wittenberg, and Cornell, Giant Ledge and Panther, North Point, and the Blackhead Range. Amazing views in the Catskills. If you love the outdoors and want to protect it, or you know someone who's thinking about a career environment, this is an excellent opportunity to give back to the parks and trails you love, while also gaining valuable experience. Some of the benefits include housing, a bi-weekly stipend, wilderness first aid training, and more. Go to nynjtc.org/corps-positions for more information and to apply. Thank you, Myra, for doing that. And thank you for your volunteering. And thank you for your time as a summit steward. All right, Dave. I don't know if you know a lot of history about the Catskills, but I do a Catskills history every episode. Do you mind doing that?
Not at all. Go right ahead. I would love to. I would love to hear it.
Excellent. Excellent. So do you know about the tanneries in the Catskills?
I've heard about them, but I didn't really get the whole story.
Okay. So crazy time in the Catskills. One of the biggest times was when the tanneries, of course, for leather was going on in all places in the Catskills. The tanneries were huge. I don't know if you've been to Prattsville.
Yeah.
That's where Zadok Pratt had his tannery, and it was one of the biggest in the world at the time. It was one of the first in the world. And he was a very big guy. And apparently the tanneries had some bad influence on the Catskills. And that's what I'm going to go over tonight. Crazy stuff. So this is from The Heart of the Catskills. It's by Bob Studing. Book, amazing book, get it. And it's about how the tanneries destroyed the Catskills. I'm going to read a little part from him. The tannery companies itself was a hive of activity. It was usually situated along a river or stream, since abundant water was required to make the ooze or liquid in which the hides were tanned. In addition, the stream itself was used as a conduit for the discharge of the noxious wastes, which the tanning process produced. It was these places that the great quantities of bark, which bark peelers had cut, were taken. In this regard, it is said that it took about 1 quart of bark to tan 10 hides. In that, some 64 tanneries operated in the Catskills between the first decade of the 19th and the first of the 20th centuries, many tanning thousands of hides each year, with an average life of tannery about 27 years. One can imagine the profound impact this industry produced on the forest and the environment. Statistics cited by one authority, for example, indicate that in 1 year, 1868, in Sullivan, Greene, and Delaware counties, an estimated 2 million hides were tanned. One of the mainsprings of the industrial development and environmental change in the 19th century, writes historian Martin Bruegel, the tanning industry represents the prototype of economic development at the time, with its individual benefits and ecological cost. The Prattsville Tannery, one of the largest in the Catskills and one of the largest in the world, in its 20-year history, tanned some 1 million hides, about 10 hides per cord. This tannery would have used some 100,000 cords of hemlock bark. Thus, if it took about 4 hemlocks to produce 1 quart of bark, according to Zadok Pratt's estimate, the single tannery alone harvested the bark of at least 400,000 trees. With this figure as the basis, forest historians Robert McIntosh and Michael Kudis deduce that during the history of tanning throughout the Catskills, some 7 million cords of hemlock bark must have been consumed. This means that as many as 70 million trees could have been cut. Tanning, however, was not only an extremely wasteful process, consuming prodigious numbers of hemlock trees and polluting the streams, it also assaulted the senses. According to Alf Evers, it is unlikely that the human mind has ever contrived a nastier, smellier, or more wasteful industrial process. The sour smell of fermented slime, the rancid odor of untanned hides, and the stink of fish oil fermented the tannery and often spread for miles. Without a doubt, it was a very smelly business. Crazy stuff about Catskill histories, right?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, a lot of if you look in a lot of books, it shows that the tanning industry destroyed the Catskills. It's really crazy. I mean, you guys are located in Lexington, correct?
Yes.
So you have all those beautiful creeks.
Yes.
So just imagine those creeks filled with that ooze and the silt from the local mountains running off of the rain and stuff like that. It's crazy.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. So at one time, it definitely destroyed the Catskills, but of course the Catskills rebounded, and we got a beautiful time today.
Yeah.
So excellent.
Yep. Nature usually takes care of itself as long as we leave it alone.
Exactly, and that's why we have that park. Just imagine if we didn't have the park here, and what would happen. But I mean, the hemlock alone, man. If you think about it, all these towns, if not touched, they would be surrounded with hemlock trees instead of just your normal maples and your white birch and stuff like that. It's really interesting stuff to read about. So excellent. Let's get on with our guest of the night, David. Dave, actually from Friends of the Feathered and Furry, who is a wildlife rehabilitation center. I've followed them for a very long time, and I got sort of more into the Friends of the Feathered and Furry when I was with the Catskills 3500 Club Committee. We donated to them, and it was a really good time to donate to them because it was right before the pandemic, and they definitely needed the help. And they do so much around the Catskills. Check out their Facebook page. Amazing stuff. So, Dave, can you introduce yourself? You know, where you're from, what you've been doing, and a little bit of background information, buddy.
Yes, we're David Laverty. We're originally from Long Island. Both of us came from Long Island. We moved up here about 25 years ago or so. And my wife had a crazy idea to start one of these things, she used to do domestic rescues in Long Island. And I personally never heard of a wildlife rehabilitator before I met her, but she had lofty goals, and I just wanted to make her happy. Happy wife, happy life. You know what they say, right?
Agreed.
And and that's basically a story of getting up here. And then once we started doing the wildlife, it just started to take off after that.
So when she was down in Long Island, what did she do for rehabilitation? Like what kind of animals?
Domestics,
so
cats
like
and dogs.
Dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
And then she got that wild idea to go up and get into the wild area.
She realized very quickly that domestic animals come associated with people.
Yep.
And if you know anything about my wife, she was not a people person. She had somebody actually called her personality a little prickly. Either she loved you or she didn't like you. That's just the way she was, but she always loved the animals. It was always about the animals with her. So she decided to go into wildlife because wildlife doesn't come with people, and there's no one to explain to, and you don't have a big story and everything else, and you do it the best you can. And that's the way we work.
Awesome.
And it suited her fine.
Awesome. Dave, I can edit this part out. Would you mind talking about your wife or no?
No, not at all. No problem.
Okay, go right ahead. So your wife, what was her name?
Missy. Everybody knew it was Missy.
Missy.
Her name was Barbara Runyon.
I remember giving her a ring. Unfortunately, Missy passed away, but her passion for the wildlife or rehabilitation was absolutely phenomenal, was absolutely enormous.
It was uncanny. It was absolutely uncanny. I would come down here sometimes in the middle of the night, and she'd be sleeping in the chair next to an eagle with an oxygen cuff over his mouth.
Oh my God!
Because the birds stay there wild, so they really don't know that we're trying to help them, so they fight everything. And I would find them in a office chair, sitting next to the thing, sleeping, making sure the oxygen mask stayed on the bird.
Wow!
She was truly one of a kind. Not because she's my wife, but because I seen it.
Yeah.
You know.
And did she change your thought on the wildlife?
Well, I always loved wildlife, and if you find that most hunters, like I used to be a hunter, was something big in my family when I was young. We used to go together. My father, my uncle, my brothers from Long Island. We used to come up to Fleischman and hunt. We had property up there years ago when I was a kid, and it was a big to do for the family. And it was, it was nice. I really enjoyed it. And once that stopped, once I moved up here, the thrill was gone because I see the animals every day. When I lived on Long Island, I was in a crowded part of Long Island, and the worst animal I seen was a rat.
Yeah.
So to see the deer just running around here, and every day they're in my yard, and I just couldn't bring myself to just walk out my back door and shoot a deer and then go home. That's not hunting for me.
Yeah.
The thrill of the hunt was gone. So it's all right. I got no problem with it. I have no problem with hunters. Neither one of us did. If you do it properly and you do it fair and you do it right,
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely, and a lot of people would say that they would disagree with us in the wildlife community, but you know, you can't stop people from doing what they want to do.
Correct.
It's their right. If they want to go hunting, they can, as long as they consume it. They don't waste it. They don't, you know, it's not a waste of an animal. Then that's fine with me.
Yeah. 99% 0.9% of hunters are respectful for nature. They will do it the proper way. And if you don't do it the proper way, of course, you know, people won't like you and you're disrespectful and you don't respect nature.
Correct. And to spend that much time in the woods as a hunter and not to respect the wildlife that comes around you when you're waiting for something, you know, I don't know how you can be like that, but I used to love it. I really did. I used to love it. I used to enjoy the animals. I've let go of more deer than I shot over the years that I've hunted.
Awesome. Just
watching them run through the woods. You see a deer running full speed through the woods that I can't even walk through. And it's just shocking.
You're wondering how they don't break a leg or something like that.
How they do it. How they don't break. I can't even walk through it. They're running full speed. Absolutely incredible.
Agreed. You twist an ankle or something like that and you'd be hurt for weeks.
Yep.
But they can't. So excellent. We're unfortunately sorry to hear about Missy, but she started a great organization, and I'm glad you're taking it over, because what you guys are doing is huge in the Catskills. Is very huge. Continuing the wildlife, continuing their lives is just absolutely big. So I'm guessing, of course, we're going to talk about what was the goal in the beginning? To rescue as many as you can, or was it to help out what you could and to put them back in the wildlife?
The goal was to make a difference.
Awesome.
We know that we knew early on that we rehab fawns. Now you rehab a deer and everything goes well and you release the deer in September and everything is fine. You can turn around the next day and it's hit by a car. We understand that. And it's not like we're just doing it for the glory or for anything else. You just did it for the love of the animals. So you do the best that you can. And once they're free, we agreed years ago that if they spend one day free, that's a win for us.
Wow.
God forbid something happens and the next day, who knows? Could get attacked by something. It's nature. You know, we can't help. But we can at least give them a good start. Fawns leave here at about almost 50 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So they have a pretty good start when they leave here, and and they're pretty rough to wrangle.
Yeah.
they don't like us very much when they leave, which is perfect.
You want them to hate you so they could stay away from humans.
By the time we get them back into the woods after wrangling them and putting them in a trailer and driving them where they're supposed to go, they won't go near another person.
Good call.
We have to bring all the deer back to the county and pick them up from.
So have you ever with the rescues, have you ever gotten you've released something and they kind of look back at you and give you a nod, like a thank you?
A couple of times.
Nice.
A few times, yes. We released an eagle like that once. He walked over to the edge of the fly cage. We let him off the roof, and he got to the edge and they turned around and he looked and he took off.
Oh, God, you were probably brought to tears, right?
Oh, my wife would forget it. She was a mess.
God, I would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah, she was a mess.
So
it didn't help that everybody else was standing on the roof, said the same thing. So
nice.
I was on the ground taking pictures.
Oh, nice.
And it was pretty impressive. But it doesn't happen very often. Once we let them go, they usually we get the finger.
That's what I was just gonna say. That they're usually gonna tell you to fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So how much has it changed since you've started? How much have you grown?
We've grown quite a bit. It started out real small. We were doing mammals first, and then we started with the birds, and we started building cages, and most of the money we put up ourselves, and we started off at people donating dog kennels. So we started up some cages, putting some cages up with dog kennels, putting roofs on them, and then we started getting bigger and bigger, and she told me that she wanted a fly cage so she can do eagles.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at her and I told her, "You were crazy. because unless you can find somebody that's going to move a mountain, there's no way I'm going to get a 100-foot building on it, because we bought a piece of property on the side of a mountain.
Yep.
It was cheap. That's all we could afford. And that was it. We had to get out from where we were. We were originally in Tannersville, and we had to leave there. So the landlord was selling the house. So we bought this place, and she said that she wanted the 100-foot fly cage.
Oh, wow.
So I said, you find somebody to move a mountain, and I'll build it for you. And she did. She hired Jimmy Wiltsey, a local excavator around here, who came up and he just looked at it. He said, sure, no problem. We cleared all the trees and pulled them back in, and he started digging and leveled a nice piece of land. And we put a fly cage on it, 20 foot wide, 20 feet high, 103 feet long.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
That's
no rafters inside, no beams, no nothing, just wide open flight.
And at each end there's kind of like a plank and stuff for them to fly back and forth, correct?
Yeah, we put adjustable perches in.
Nice.
So we can raise the perch that goes across. That's 8 feet wide. So we got it on ropes. We can pull them up for the birds that are flying well, and for the birds that have to get a little. Sometimes some birds, especially after surgery, they can't fly right away, so they have to hop.
Yep.
So we get them up on the perch, and they hop off, and they go further and further and further, and eventually they get up there.
Wow. So
I had to make the perches adjustable, and to top everything off, just to make it just a little bit more difficult, that my wife was so good at. She wanted a pond in there.
Oh, Jesus.
So we have a 30-foot long by 15-foot wide pond.
Wow.
In the fly cage that we had to dig before we put the building up, because I couldn't dig it after the building.
Yeah.
Which made putting the building up that much more difficult. But yeah, we dug it out before we put the building up, because we couldn't get a machine in there to do it, to get all the dirt out.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so we have live trout. We have live trout in our pond, and we teach baby birds, baby eagles, and yearlings, stuff like that we get in. So teach them how to fish.
Wow. That was my next question. I'm guessing the pond is used for their exercises to fish and to hunt.
Yes.
Awesome. That is so cool. Wow. I never knew that. I never knew you had pond in there. Wow.
Yeah, there's a pond in there.
Crazy.
I still think about it today, and I laugh. I just can't believe how we got it up. Me and volunteers. After the ground was leveled, nobody got paid. Everybody who came here worked for free.
Hell yeah.
It was actually pretty remarkable. Town donated, the mountaintop was good with donations. They helped us along as we were going.
Wow.
So it's a great community up here.
Yeah, definitely.
There are a lot of caring people.
That's why I'm doing this, by the way. Hopefully this will get the word out, and I respect you guys so much. Volunteers are what makes the Catskill Park thrive. And and definitely what you guys do helps out a lot. So what are the barriers to this operation, this sort of stuff? How can you rescue something? Are you just like called upon, or does it have to be approved by something?
No, we're just called upon. Usually people who find them, or ECOs, DEC. We work really closely with DEC. Nice. And they transport for us. We meet them halfway. They really go out of their way to help the animals. I know DEC gets a bad rap, and they really shouldn't, because they're extremely helpful.
Yeah.
They find animals, they'll drive animals, they'll do whatever they have to do to get the animals help. If we need help with an unruly person and we're trying to get a bird off their property, they're always there.
Wow.
It's just, yeah, they really do. They really go out of their way for us. I appreciate even not just them, the sheriff's department, and even the state troopers. Even got state troopers picking up animals for us. They drop it off at the barracks in Catskill, and we go down and pick them up.
Wow.
So we get a lot of help from a lot of people, and that's what makes us successful.
Yeah.
Because we can't be everywhere. We cover from Westchester County past Albany.
Oh, wow.
And all the way out to Delaware County.
Wow.
Past the end of Delaware. So we cover a lot of property.
Yeah. A lot of property in limited time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but you know what? You do what you can. And
yes.
And what you do makes a huge difference. So that is that's incredible. And I love seeing the rehabilitation of the eagles. Holy crap, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. We even no matter how many you release, it's always like the feeling's always the same. You never get tired of seeing it. It's really nice.
Those eagles are majestic, and just seeing them They look like every time they're pissed off at you.
Always.
But I guarantee.
Oh, you think that's bad? You got to see the great horned owls. They're always mad.
Yep.
The great ones are always mean.
They got those eyes, the eyebrows that are just like, you really seriously going to do this?
Yeah, they do. They look at you because you got to hold them by their feet, because the feet is the dangerous part. And when you grab them by the feet, and they stop and they put their ear tufts up and they look at you like, "Who are you? And why do you have my feet?" They're just looking to mess with you.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the eagles. Are birds your biggest sort of operation, or
No, we do mammals also.
okay?
We do deer, we do fox, we do. I got a possum here. I got 2 fox kids
Oh, possums.
that the mother was found dead,
Oh.
and the babies were next to the mother. And but we do mammals. We do bear. We do gray fox.
Oh wow, gray fox. Wow.
Yeah, gray fox, red fox,
Rare, those,
which are completely different species, and you cannot put them together.
yeah, definitely. Survival. Definitely, they would see each other as competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, with doing this stuff, of course, there's risk involved. What sort of risk comes with trying to rehabilitate an animal? Of course, it's probably like them trying to attack you all the time.
Let's just say I bleed every day.
Oh my God.
Okay. Let's just leave it at that. There's always days they bite, they scratch. It's just their nature. They're trying to get away.
Yeah.
They have no idea that we're trying to. The only time, that's how you know when an animal is really sick, is when they let you work on them.
Oh wow.
If they let you work on them, you know he's in bad shape.
Wow.
Otherwise, they fight you tooth and nail every minute. Either they'll bite you, they'll scratch you, they try to talon you.
Yeah.
But then you get that little window when they first come in, where you can actually do a pretty good workup on them, and then after that, the next day they feel a little better, and then it's all over.
Yeah.
Then it's war.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, probably towards the end of the time, and they're probably just like, get the hell away from me.
Yeah. By the time they leave here downstairs, and this is critical care. We take it. We got to give them meds every day, and we have to take care of them every day. Once they get out of here, they go into a recovery cage that's outside, and then all we do outside is feed.
Oh,
We don't give them any meds outside. We don't, no support, no nothing, just food and water, and that's it. But once they leave here, they can't stand us. Get them in the cage outside. They really do. They had enough of us.
yeah.
So then they go from cages outside, and then eventually they get up in the flight cage, the flight condition, because while they're here, they don't really fly. So they put on a couple of pounds, not a couple of pounds, but they get a little chubby. So we get them up into the flight cage and let them spread their wings, and they fly back and forth 3 or 4 times, and to get them back in the condition, let them go.
Wow. There are so many things that, of course, you can see me right now and I have a big smile on my face, but I guarantee there are many times where you don't have smiles on your face.
Yeah.
Some of the risk that involved with like a great horned owl or a bald eagle with the talons, man. I can't even think of that right now.
Apparently, from what I'm told, there's 1,000 pounds per square inch.
Wow.
Of force in an eagle foot.
Whoa.
800 psi on a great horned owl.
Shit.
So that nails can go completely through your hand very easily.
Wow.
Without even trying. I made a mistake once and I got caught by a red tail.
Oh wow.
And it was ugly. Well, I was silly because what happened was people found this bird. Quick story.
Yeah.
They found the bird and they drove around all day. They couldn't find anybody to take it. By the time they got to us, it was 9 o'clock. So at night, birds fall asleep.
Yeah.
So when I got to the back of the car, she says he's in the back. They didn't even have him in a box or nothing. So his head was down. And I assumed he was really sick because his head was down, not realizing it was nighttime and he was sleeping. When I went to go grab him, he woke up. And he got me. Really got me good.
With his talons?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I assumed he was sick. That's why he was falling over, but he was actually sleeping because it was dark. So, yeah. You only make that mistake once.
You live and learn.
X all my volunteers.
You live and learn and then get burned.
That's it.
What is the toughest role of your operation?
The toughest roles are the ones that we lose.
Yeah.
That's the toughest. We take everything very personal here, and And we're not doing this for fun. We do this to win, and you don't win them. You don't win all of them. So that's the toughest part.
Yeah.
The toughest part are the ones that you really work hard on, and we end up losing anyway. And sometimes they just can't be helped, and sometimes it just can't be released. We had a red tail that just came in and got stuck in a soccer net,
Oh, wow.
and it was hanging by 1 foot for God knows how long. By the time the person came home, and it was cold, so he lost all the circulation to his foot. He lost his foot.
Yeah.
The bird had to be euthanized. It cannot be released. All because someone didn't take down a soccer net in the middle of February.
Yeah.
You know, it's stuff like that. And it's not just that. It's, you drive by the schoolyards and all their soccer nets are still up. No one's playing soccer now.
Mhm.
There's no reason to have those nets down. Just flip them down. It's stupid stuff like that that really gets you. There's no reason for that bird to die because someone didn't feel like taking down a damn soccer net.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
You know, so it's, you know, we educated, we posted the picture. We don't like, everybody wants to see happy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, happy stuff is great. Me too. I would love to see it all the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen always. So we ended up making a post on it last month, and we had a lot of feedback, and people were a little annoyed, but you can't release a one-legged bird.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's a shame.
Yeah. Definitely.
But those are the ones we take. That's the roughest part of this job.
Yeah. The losses.
That's truly the roughest. Feeding, medicating, physical therapy, chasing them around so that they fly. None of that stuff is bad. It's just the ones we lose. It's bad.
Yeah, the losses.
We never get it. It's just hard.
I agree.
So
That's a great point. That is absolutely perfect. Definitely tough to lose something, of course, especially an animal that's helpless.
Yeah,
and that sucks. And then what goes along with that question, which I don't have on my little sheet right here. What can we do to help out you guys and help out, like you said, take down soccer nets? What's also another operation that we could do to help out the wildlife easily?
take down soccer nets. You can, if you're going to feed your bird, if you're going to put out bird feeders, everybody's putting out bird feeders now. They want to see the birds back. I understand. I get it. I love seeing birds in my yard too. The problem is that you have to be responsible with them.
Yep.
You have to have high enough so that a bear can't get them.
Yep.
Bears are a big problem with bird feeders. You got to take them down once a week and clean them. Otherwise, they give each other diseases. They get conjunctivitis.
Yep.
Anywhere that their eyes touch could give another bird conjunctivitis. So you got to take them down. You got to clean. Just got to be responsible.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, take down your soccer nets. Get rid of your plastic bags that the loops don't get. We have a deer now with a Tupperware stuck around his neck.
Oh, wow.
A lid from a Tupperware.
Oh, man.
It's 2 months. 2 months now, and no one can get near him.
Shit.
It's stuff like that. Junk in your yard. Get rid of your buckets. If you have buckets in the backyard you're not using, get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's little stuff, things that you don't even think of half the time.
Yeah.
There was a deer in Ellenville, had a Hershey's syrup bottle stuck on his foot.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So yep. So we got that one off. We ended up giving it to I left the pole with a hook on it for the owners, because the owners were the only people at the house were the only ones that could get close enough to grab it. But they ended up getting it off. Who wouldn't let me near him? Wow. If a deer doesn't recognize you, they don't. You can't get near him.
Yeah, yeah. So being a responsible human being and a good human being.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Think about if something can get caught. The fencing you put around your garden to keep the deer from eating your flowers. Little birds get stuck in them.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. I mean, I know you're trying to spend a lot of money on your shrubs. I get it, but I haven't got a single shrub in my house. You know why? Because deers eat them.
Yeah.
So I know it looks nice and it's beautiful and all, but you have to realize where you actually live and what you're going to bring in.
Yeah. It's
pesticides. Be careful with your pesticides.
Oh,
yeah. The stuff that you're poisoning the mice go outside, they go to die, bird eats it. Bird comes in, and he's bleeding out of his nose and out of his ears. And it's, stuff like that. Like I said, we're not going to save them all. I understand that. I'm a realist. I realize that. But there's some things that we can just help. That's, I mean, I can't tell you, masks everywhere.
God.
Around ducks' necks.
Jesus.
You know, it's why you got to throw the. First of all, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
You have something that was on your face and you throw it on the floor. But why does it got to end up in a parking lot?
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it can be helped just by paying attention.
Yeah, being a good human being. That's what I say is you got to be a good human being. You got to respect everything, not just respect. Humans, respect the animals. It's somewhat common sense. Come on.
Yes, it's true. It is true.
Wow, great information. I gotta admit, recycle. Leave your bags freaking out. Recycle your bags. Don't throw them on the side of the road. Don't throw your food on the side of the road. You can get an animal and
yeah, that's another problem.
Yeah,
food on the side of the road gets birds killed all the time.
Yep,
all the time.
Birds and deer. They come to see it, and then they see the lights, and they jump in front of your car.
Yep.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, I gotta agree. So, what animal have you rescued or rehabilitated the most?
Last year, we had a big run on bear for some reason.
Wow.
And we had a lot. We had almost 19 bear here come through here.
Oh, wow.
2 years ago. Yeah, last year we had none. So apparently we were getting them in over the winter because they were so small. This usually should be around 60 pounds to go into hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
And we were getting them in December at around 15 to 25 pounds.
Oh, wow.
They were super tiny. I don't know what happened, but we couldn't figure out what the reason was. According to DEC, something like that happens usually every 10, 15 years, that they have a problem with there's not enough food for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And but this year was an abundant year. And usually we get most of our calls from Woodstock because people like to see the bears in their yard.
Yep.
And but we got not one call from the town of Woodstock this year.
Nice.
Not one. My wife and DEC did a program explaining bear rules, and because we ended up telling the mayor, she told the mayor flat out, she says, "You got the worst town in the whole Ulster County."
Yep.
And he was shocked. He had no idea. He had no clue that his town was the worst as far as bear control. And nobody was using bear-proof lids on their garbage pails, and they were leaving their garbage out the night before in the end of the driveway.
Yep.
So you leave your garbage out at the end of the driveway, and the bear just walks down the street and knocks every one of them over until he finds something to eat.
Slaps them over.
So, yeah. So, but they completely turned around. It was absolutely amazing. I even called DEC to find out, did you get any calls? And this is not one call this year.
Wow.
Not one bear complaint. So it's good. That's good. That means there was plenty of food and they got fat enough to make it through the winter.
And that's education.
And that was education.
Yeah, you educated the people of what not to do, yes. And all of a sudden it rebounded and you had a successful year.
Yep. But the problem is we've been telling them that the whole time. And they just didn't get it. I guess I don't know what happened. Like I said, probably because it was a bountiful year last year with food, and a lot of bears did really well because they didn't come to. There really wasn't that many people, that many bear complaints even over the summer for bird feeders or anything. So, so maybe it was just a good year.
Do you also think that could have been to? I'm not trying to discriminate or anything. Do you think that also could have been to the city people coming up and spending more time in the Catskills than normal and not knowing the procedures and stuff like that to keep the bears safe?
Well, there's more Airbnbs now than there was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's actually the case, but maybe just having more people up here, they're just not coming closer to houses anymore because so many people are coming up. Everybody's renting their houses out. There's always people in the houses now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see this year. We'll see what happens in the spring.
Yeah. Keep me updated, please.
Yes.
I will definitely gladly share that source of information. That's a really cool stats to know that you helped out 19 bears in 2021 or 2020?
Yeah, 2020, I believe it was.
And then 2021, there was absolutely none.
Wow. This past year was not even one.
Wow. Unbelievable.
We didn't have not one bear this year. We released the last two bears we had in October.
Oh wow.
Of last year. That was the last two bears we got rid of. But all winter we didn't. Not one got into trouble. Not one broke into a house. It was amazing. Wow. It was actually, it was very nice. Very nice to see that people actually paying attention. I hope.
You see, social
I
media.
hope they paid attention.
Yeah, social media can be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that a tough like bears? Are they a tough rescue?
Not really, because once we get them up into the bear pen, we built a bear right above the flight cage. We put up a bear pen, and it's 50 feet long by 8-foot high block walls
Oh wow.
and 20 feet wide, and it's got a 4-foot chain link fence going over the top of the roof. So once you get them in there, it's actually pretty easy.
Oh wow.
We have a den box in there, and we blind feed. In other words, they don't see us feeding them.
Yeah.
We obviously have a sliding door, and there's a trough on rollers that we pull out, and we fill up the trough, we slide it back in, and we close the door so they don't see a human giving them food, so they don't attribute food to people.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty easy. And then just getting them out, you got to knock them out to get them out. The last two better left here, one was I think it was 85 pounds, and the other one was like 72 or 73.
Wow.
So they left here pretty hefty.
Yeah, yeah. And they grow up to be, anywhere between 200 and 400 pounds, correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were young.
They were babies, yes. They were this year's baby.
Oh wow. So they'll be out there. Excellent. Wow, that's crazy. That's once again beautiful stuff. So do you have any sort of like memorable rescue, like something that'll stick in your head forever?
One rescue. I'm trying to think. There was I kind of like them all, but
yeah.
I believe it was the Eagles. The two Eagles were released right up here in Wyndham, and there was a yearling and a baby.
Oh wow.
The first year eagle. We released them together, and what ended up happening is the adults were still there. I'm trying to think of the name of the park it was in Wyndham.
Is that the one near like Big Hollow, down towards the end of Big Hollow with the reservoir?
No, it was right. It was somebody's name. Anyway,
yeah.
we released them there, and the adult who was there was looking for the baby. What happened was the eagle jumped out of when the eagles fledge. They jump out of their nest and they try to fly.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're not successful, so they land on the ground. Well, this particular year got run over by an ATV.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there was a ATV path right underneath, which was illegal because you have to stay 400 feet away from an eagle nest.
Oh wow.
So that was a big issue then. So we had DEC involved and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and there was a whole to do. The tree ended up falling, and we lost the nest anyway.
Oh my God.
So what happened was he got run over by an ATV. We took care of him. We got a broken wing. We fixed his wing. We got him back, and then we released a 2-year-old with him.
Oh wow.
Just because it was it was relatively close. I believe it was in Durham, but we released them both together, and the adult from the baby chased the yearling away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they put up quite a fight. It was actually pretty interesting. The yearling didn't know what he did wrong.
Yeah.
And the other guy didn't want him there, and the baby was just sitting in the middle of an island because he took off and landed on an island, and he didn't know what was going on. And but eventually, it ended up chasing the yearling away.
Oh wow.
He was like 2 years old, I believe.
So he's a juvenile. He was like brown and white and stuff like that.
Yeah, the juvenile was all brown. Yeah.
Oh wow.
The other guy had a little bit of a white head.
Wow.
But that was actually pretty memorable. That the parents were actually still around after all that time, because usually they don't hang around the nest if they have no babies.
Wow.
But apparently this guy was still here.
Yeah. So you know what's crazy? Where I live, not even a half a mile away from me is a bald eagle's nest. You can see this thing from half a mile away. Massive. It's got to be, I don't know, like 8 feet tall and maybe like 4 or 5 feet wide. And it's funny, it is seriously 50 to 80 feet away from like a feeding mill on the railroad tracks. So I don't know like how the DEC controls that, but it's absolutely insane. I see these eagles all the time flying over my house and around me, and I'm scared shitless that they're going to take my my dogs away from me because they're huge.
It's possible. We ended up putting a nest back in Clinton Corners.
How did you do that?
Big nest was in a park. It was like a private refuge or whatever, and the nest got blown out of a tree. And what they ended up doing, they hired 2 tree climbers, and they went up there and they put a box spring up.
Oh wow.
from a bed, and they covered it with branches and twigs and everything else. And we ended up putting the 2 babies back in the nest.
Oh my God.
And babies fell out. They were too young to fledge.
Yeah.
But they came down with the nest.
Oh.
And that was Memorial Day weekend. I'll never forget it. It was probably, I don't know, 2000, 2001, something
wow.
like that. No, I'm sorry, 2011. That was pretty amazing. That was pretty cool.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, the people hired tree climbers. They went up there. They built another nest for them. They threw them right back in the middle of it, and the parents kept feeding them.
Oh wow. So they totally accepted it.
Oh yeah. Birds can't smell.
Oh wow.
That's a fallacy. You can touch as many baby birds as you want and put them back in the nest. Birds can't smell. They don't know. They have no idea they were touched.
Oh wow.
They can't smell, and they can't count.
That's very good to know. Actually, but still, don't touch the birds at all. So,
well, if they fall out of a nest, please put them back.
Okay.
If you can reach the nest, put it back.
Good call.
Because the mother will not reject them if you touch them. Same thing with a deer. Everybody says if you touch a baby deer, the mother's going to reject them. Not true at all.
Oh wow.
Not true at all. We've returned deers 48 hours after they were picked up, and the mother is still there looking for her.
Oh wow.
It's actually very sad to say that the mother is still looking for the baby after 2 days because the baby got kidnapped.
Yeah, good to know. Very good point to know. Wow, that's very, 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 very good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what do you think your toughest rescue has been? Your craziest one?
Craziest one, I would have to say, was an eagle rescue. He came in with so many things wrong with him. He had West Nile.
Oh.
And he had high, his lead levels were high, and she worked on that bird for about 6 months.
Oh wow.
And she finally got him to go.
Wow.
So that was actually that was a lot of work. She used vitamin supplements. She threw everything but the kitchen sink at it. Because she really did. She really tried hard on that one. And the bird was falling over, and it was a rough rescue. But she was very persistent, my wife. She wouldn't take no for an answer, and she very seldom gave up.
Wow.
But that was actually probably one of the toughest ones.
Yeah.
It was that bird had everything wrong. It was a mess.
Those bald eagles, man, they are quite memorable animals.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
I gotta agree. So there is I remember seeing on your website there is a rule called "Please Don't Feed Me" rule. Can you talk about that? I'm somewhat familiar with it, but I'm not.
Yes, a fed bear. She coined it as a fed bear is a dead bear.
Yep.
If you feed your bear in your yard, you're guaranteeing the death of that bear.
Yep.
For the simple reason that a bear doesn't relate to. A bear sees a square thing, and he sees food come out of it. Somebody comes out and gives them food. Dumps bird seed, 50 pounds of bird seed in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
And the bear comes and eats. Now, the bear doesn't attribute it just to this house. He goes to the neighbor's house and sees another square thing and says, hey, there's food in that house. And he breaks into that house.
Yeah.
Once they break into a house, they have to be put down. They can't break in. They're not allowed to break into property. They're not allowed to touch a human being.
Yep.
If they touch somebody, they have to be put down. And the thing is that by people feeding them and bringing them closer to us, they're putting them in danger, and they're putting the neighbors in danger.
Yeah.
So it's not, like I said, they don't attribute just to your house. I mean, you feed the bear and he breaks into your house, you deserve it. He's probably going to end up going to your neighbor's house who didn't feed the bear.
Yeah.
Because a house is a house to them. They can't distinguish between which house gives you the food.
Yeah.
So if you don't feed them and you leave them alone, and they'll do just fine. They'd be more than happy to walk through your yard. You can see them. You're not going to get a good selfie.
Yeah.
You know, that's what people try to do. They keep the animals in their yard so they can get a selfie.
Oh God.
You know, it's ridiculous. So if you just leave them alone, they'll be just fine.
Yeah.
They've been doing fine without us for all these years. They really don't need. Same thing with bird feeders. Birds really don't need to be fed.
Yeah.
But people like doing it because they like seeing the birds. I get it. I understand. But birds did fine before we showed up.
Of course, they're wild.
So, yes.
And that also is the curse of social media.
Yes.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
everybody's got to get more likes than the next person. So there's
Exactly.
always somebody doing something more stupid than that last guy,
Jesus.
trying to get a selfie of a black bear in the yard
Or a grizzly bear.
or a grizzly bear.
I see.
Yeah, black bears usually run away, but you never know. You might get one in a bad mood one day.
Yeah.
Or you might get in between her and her cubs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's pretty bad.
Yep.
It's a bad place to be.
I agree. You don't want to mess with a mama.
I don't want to mess with a mama bear.
Oh, yeah. Definitely ran into that, at least once or twice when I've hiked. I've hiked once where I saw the mama or the cub and I sprinted. I got the hell out of there. I was just like, I ain't doing this shit.
Yep. That's true.
So that's a great rule. I got to admit, I might think second about feeding the birds out here in the suburban area in Avoniana. So,
but like I said, as long as you do it right, you keep your bird feeders clean and everything else, you'll be okay. I'm like I said, as long as bears, I don't think you got too much of a bear problem in Avoniana.
Not at all.
So, but we have one gentleman right here in Tannersville, and I was so impressed with his system. He insisted on feeding the birds. And what he did is we strung a cable from the gable of his house about 60 feet up in a pine tree across his whole front yard and into his driveway. And he had a pole and he hung all the bird feeders and he would bring them all in, clean them, fill them, and then spread them out along the whole driveway. He had like 7 of them on this piece of cable. No way a bear was going to get to him. And all he had a million birds there. That's doing it right.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God.
It was very, very impressive setup he had there.
We need to get that guy online. Post his stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy. Also, so I saw on your website they have a sponsor and a minimal program. Let's talk about that.
Okay. You can sponsor anywhere from $5, I believe, to I think it's $60 for a bear.
Yeah.
Songbirds are $5, an owl is $45, a hawk is $35, something like that. And we get monthly donations from people for sponsoring animals.
Wicked.
So it works out kind of nice. People find it very convenient. It's easy for them to know. I got to think about it, and we appreciate it because all the money goes to the animals here. I just got my mice order and I spent $5,000 on mice.
Oh wow!
So I have 7 freezers down here and they're all full.
Wow!
So we're ready to go. All I'm doing now is I ordered. We had our bake sale just recently, and we used that money to buy the milk for the deer.
Oh wow!
Because it's special formula that they all get. Squirrels and possums and rabbits, bear, they all get different formula. And the deer is a specific formula. So we got to stock up because the ones are going to start coming soon, and we got to have milk for them.
Oh, wow.
So everything is species specific.
Oh, nice. That's great.
So we keep a lot of stock. Like I said, I'm all loaded. I'm ready to go. Ready for the babies to start coming, and yeah, it's very helpful when people on the donations. Like I said, all the money goes to the animals here.
Ridiculous. My freaking dogs. I have 3 dogs.
Oh, you love them. You love them. Stop it.
Oh, I do, but I have 3 dogs. I have a lab beagle, I have a corgi, and I have a Jamaican rescue dog from the actual island of Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
The dog from Jamaica barks at anything and everything that moves. When all 3 of them go about, it's like a warning sign because the lab beagle never barks. So I was like, oh, that ain't good. And my wife's not here right now. So I was like, oh, so I ran downstairs and it was a cat walking across the lawn. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. Don't take much.
All right. So the sponsor an animal program is pretty neat. I got to admit, that's pretty neat. I'm going to probably sponsor a possum now because I love possums.
I have a possum that's ready for release now.
Oh,
finally. He spent the winter here with an infection on his ears.
oh,
They get that crusty thing on their ears.
yeah.
And it looks like the ears fall off.
Oh,
Finally got rid of it. And he's fat and he's nasty and he's ready to go.
he's hissing at you.
They do. They get so fat in captivity. Oh my God. They really do. He's just round. He's more round than he is long.
Oh, that's so cute. I love possums. They're so cute.
He's adorable.
So I know this is a tough question. You don't have to answer this. Is there any way we can volunteer?
We have plenty of volunteers at the moment.
Okay.
in a couple of months, a month or two, we're going to start getting inundated with babies, and we'll probably be looking for more people. I have a few people that are on the list, and I usually go through the list because people have been waiting to get in.
Yeah.
And but as of right now, my volunteers are incredible. They've really been really helpful in this. I was having a rough time in the past couple of months, and they really pulled together, and they helped me get through this.
Good.
So now we're just waiting for the babies to get going, and then maybe I'll be looking for more people. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome.
But usually that's when we get really crazy. Once the babies start coming in, because there's bottles and the birds got to eat every half hour.
Yeah.
Baby birds, and so there's a lot going on here during baby season.
Awesome.
But I will let some people. I will put out an announcement on Facebook if I need help. Like I said, I have a list of a few people already. I have like 6 or 7 people lined up.
Nice.
They've been asking me all winter long. So we'll see. Well, it's not all fun and games.
Yeah.
It's sad. A lot of times it's happy, it's cute, it's hysterical, it's funny, and then it's very sad.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shit involved because the animals make a mess.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of times it's not what people think it is.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna come here and they're gonna cuddle a bunch of animals.
Yeah.
It's not like that. We don't pet the animal. We don't play with the animals. We don't talk baby talk to the animals. It's serious when they're here because we can't imprint the animals to be friendly with people. That's the whole point. You can't. I'm not saying that we abuse them, but you just can't be nice to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't treat them like a baby puppy.
Yeah.
Like a fox kid. If you treat him like a puppy, he's going to walk up to any human when he gets older.
Yeah.
And that's bad. So it's not what everybody thinks it is. So a lot of times people don't work out. And but like I said, I do have a bunch that want to try, and we'll see how things go. And I'm going to start with them first, and then we'll if I need more people if they don't work out,
Good call. Good call.
It's it's a job. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of care taken care of. You have to pay attention. Got to make sure nobody gets hurt. Have to make sure that people use common sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get overwhelmed by what's around because sometimes they've got all the cages full.
Yep.
And they see an owl in this cage, they see a hawk in that cage, they see a kestrel here and a songbird there, and they get overwhelmed, and it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get the right person to do it with the right mentality and the right frame of mind, because you do have to pay attention. You got to stay on your toes. Because you have to realize that everything in here wants to hurt you.
Yeah.
Everything in here wants to hurt you. So even a cardinal, I don't know if you've got bit by a cardinal,
Nope.
but they got a nasty bite.
Oh my God. I love
They
cardinals.
do. They got their beaks are so strong for cracking open seeds.
Yeah.
That's why it's so thick. They got a nasty bite. Even a cardinal songbird wants to bite you.
Oh wow.
So there is a process we go through whenever we get new volunteers. They have to come in, we work with somebody else, and they go through the routine and the sanitation, because all the crates have to be sanitized from species to species. So there's no spread of any chance of spreading any disease or anybody else getting sicker than they already are when they come in. So it's protocol.
Yeah.
All the things that have to be done. But I will put a list out. I will put a shout out if I need a.
Okay.
Well, like I said, right now I have plenty, but you never know. Sometimes life gets in the way, and some people can't do it anymore. They want to, but they can't. And we'll see. I'll put something out on Facebook if I need more people.
Yeah. I can edit that part out if you want me to, though.
No, that's okay. It's true. A lot of people are waiting to come in. They keep asking, but I still have my original crew here.
Yeah.
And until we start getting really busy, I won't be needing anything extra.
And
I appreciate it. I believe me, eventually I'm going to need the help.
Good.
As of right now, and I'm telling people, don't give up. It's not that I'm ignoring anybody. I usually answer everybody, but I tell them in a couple of months, check back and we'll see how things go.
Awesome. That is great. I mean, I'm guessing also you probably need more people at nighttime to do.
No, not really.
They all sleep.
Nighttime is good. They all sleep.
Okay, good.
You turn the lights out on a bird, he goes right to sleep.
Oh wow.
So that's actually pretty good.
Good.
We have the only ones that really sometimes they need food at night are baby squirrels.
Oh wow.
Baby squirrels and possums. They have to be milked at night.
And the owls aren't,
No, no,
wow.
no. Once it's dark, it's dark. That's it. They go to sleep.
Oh, wow.
And we have the lights down here are all UV lights,
Oh, nice.
so that when they're in here, they still get some the UV from the sun. Well, not as good as the sun, but what happens if they don't get enough sunlight? They start to molt their feathers because they think it's a different part of the year,
Oh, yeah.
and they lose their feathers prematurely. So there's a certain time of the year that they lose their feathers and they get new ones. So that's why it's always cold down here.
Wow.
You can't have any heat because if they come from 3 degrees outside and it's 70 in here, they're gonna think it's spring and they blow their feathers.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're screwed by the time I get them outside.
Yeah.
So,
I remember talking to one of my guests about, global warming and bees. I'm guessing it's kind of like the same way, once, an owl or another animal thinks that it's spring, they'll start growing their coat or de-shedding their coat, and all of a sudden it's back to summer again.
right.
So, okay, that's good to know. That's very good to know. That's awesome. Also, as well as you keep them in the same climate that they should be in, so they don't change.
Yep.
Crazy.
Volunteers don't like it too much, but they don't like coming into a basement that's 51 degrees. But
Suck it up.
they get over it. It's the only good thing about it is it's cooler in the summertime down here.
Yeah. Tell them to suck.
So that's the only good thing about it. But otherwise, it's all about the animals.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you're from Long Island. I used to live in Hicksville in North Babylon.
Really, I was in Elmont.
Oh, nice. So crazy. So
Elmont, Franklin Square area. Missy was from Franklin Square.
so basically, what my dad would tell me, forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it.
That's what he would say. Like, it's too warm. Forget about it. That's what I tell them.
Yep.
That's what I tell people sometimes. Forget about it. Just forget about it. Don't worry about it. It's 51
Yep.
degrees. Just be lucky that it's 51 degrees and not negative 30.
That's right. Could be worse.
So we'll wrap things up. Any advice to the listeners?
Just use common sense, folks. That's the best thing you can do. Like I said, if you find a hurt animal, try to get them into a cardboard box. No food, no water. Don't give them anything. Any animal that you find.
Nice.
You get a cardboard box. You punch a couple holes in it. If you don't want to touch it, which I don't blame some people who aren't familiar, just put the box next to the animal and just kind of scooch them in with your foot, and they usually roll right in, whether it be a woodchuck or a rabbit or a hawk or anything. And if you can walk up to a bird, a hawk, or any kind of raptor, an owl, and he doesn't fly away, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So try to get him into a box with some holes in him. I'll have a volunteer pick him up, or I'll pick him up myself. Or if you can drive a little bit, I'll meet you halfway. We have a lot of ways horse. I have a lot of veterinarian officers that take my animals. I have New Paltz, another place in Newburgh, and I have another place in Pine Plains.
Nice.
So we cover a pretty large area that you can actually drop animals off at.
Oh, wow. So
she built quite a network, and her phone's got 1,200 contacts in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's got quite a few people out there that unfortunately I don't know who they all are, but I'm learning.
yeah. There's no problem with that. It was, it hasn't been too long, so definitely you need a lot of time to catch up. Yeah. So excellent. That is great advice. And once again, Dave, I really thank you for joining me on tonight. So I've learned a lot in this little 50 minutes that we've had. And hopefully,
my pleasure.
Yeah. Hopefully,
it was nice talking with you.
Yeah. I told you this is a laid back thing. It's not serious, but it is. Back and forth.
Yeah. If you like I says, if you're an animal lover, you can love animals to death if you want, but just have common sense with them. That's all.
Yeah. So
they're not your friends. They don't want to play with you. You have a deer comes in your yard. Be thankful. You know what I mean? Thankful that the deer trusts you enough to show up in your yard. Don't run out and try to pet it.
Yeah.
Or try to get a selfie with him, or it's just silly stuff.
Yeah.
Just be thankful to see him. A fox comes trotting through your yard and he's got a mouse in his mouth. It's a great sight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you see a red tail come down and try to catch a mouse in the field. That's you should be excited about that. You shouldn't always want more.
Yeah.
Like go out and try to get a picture with them, or do something stupid like putting food out so that he keeps coming back.
Yeah.
It's
common sense.
Enjoy what you have. be thankful that you had the opportunity to see it, because most people don't.
In other words, let Mother Nature be.
Correct.
Yeah.
She can be fickle sometimes, but it's nice when it works out.
Yeah. So I want to just go back real quick. I have a question for the advice. When you put them in a cardboard box, do you close the box? Of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Close the box so it doesn't get out. You don't give them too big of a box if you can, because the more room they have, if, let's say for argument's sake, you're picking up an owl and has a broken wing.
Mm-hmm.
If you put him in a really big box and he flaps, he's going to do more tissue damage, and the recovery takes longer.
Good call.
So as long as he's in a confined box, they don't mind being squished. Great blue herons look so big, but you can squish them into a little box. You wouldn't believe how small they fold up.
Oh, wow.
And that's the best thing for them, because the smaller little box, the less they're going to get hurt.
Nice.
Just make sure you got air holes. You can tape, even if you want to tape it closed, you can.
Oh, wow.
But as long as he has holes to breathe, keep him out of the sun.
Excellent.
So that's the best advice.
Okay, excellent.
Picking up animals.
I was very curious if you close the box or not.
Yes.
Of course. Awesome.
Otherwise, he's going to get out in your car.
Yeah, of course. And you don't want
He's
that.
going to get out in your car. And believe me, I had a squirrel get out of my car once. I had to tear the dashboard out.
Oh my God. Because
He went all the way up into the dashboard. I was so annoyed. He got out of the lid, and I had to. There was a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want a squirrel loose in your car.
Of course, he'll go in the smallest space possible.
Oh yeah, yep, all the way up in the dash he went.
Excellent. Well, Dave, I thank you greatly for joining me tonight and your experiences and your stories. It was phenomenal. And
thank you. I enjoyed it.
And once again, thank you for doing what you do for the Catskills. It's a big help to the Catskills.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. And unfortunately, I gave you my love and my thoughts for Missy. She did big, and I hope you take that role and you succeed with that role.
We're gonna do our best.
Yeah, I guarantee you will. And what you guys are doing,
we're gonna do our best, and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna be okay.
Definitely.
A lot of work, a lot of adjustment, but we're here for the animals.
Hell yeah. And I thank you guys so much. Once again, thank the donors, Katrina, Darren, John, Vicky, and Jim. Thank you for donating. Thank you, our sponsor, Scenic Route Guiding. Thank you, who everyone is listening. Subscribe on any platform. Look me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I have a website. If you have the time, shoot me a review on Spotify or Apple or whatever platform you use. Check out Dave's site, Friends of the Feathered and Furry Wildlife. Please check them out. Big, huge organization in the Catskills that helps out the wildlife. They have done a lot in the Catskills, and they're very, very big for the Catskills. And Dave, I thank you guys for so much. Give your love to the volunteers, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Have a great night, and I hope to see you in the future.
I'll be here. You know where to find me. The only time I go out is to get animals.
Good call.
But I'm always here. Yes.
All right. Have a good night. I'm going to stop this in a second.
All right, thank you. You too.
Have a good night.